Good evening, this is Into Vietnam program brought to you by VITV channel. In today's headlines, the Ministry of Finance says April Consumer Price Index may dip further. Japan remains Vietnam's largest investor. And Vietnam's e-commerce sales may double by 2015. The Price Management Department under the Ministry of Finance knows that the Consumer Price Index in April may dip further on the back of low purchasing power. However, the decline would happen at a slower pace as compared to that in March. The department has forecast that certain price pressures were in the state of stagnation. Epidemics that have affected livestock and poultry, for instance, are not under control in the Central Region, Highland, and Northern provinces. Agribusiness and production are therefore still stagnant. The prices of some essentials and utility services are expected to stay unchanged or decrease. The prices of diesel, mazout oil, and gas have already been lowered in the end of March and early April. Currently in Ho Chi Minh City, potentially irrecoverable debts accounts for over 73% of non-performing loans. Bad debts in the city currently stand at 45.85 trillion dong, accounting for 4.85% of total loans. Compared to the end of 2013, bad debts on the city rose by 1.15 trillion dong. Group 5 debts or potentially irrecoverable debts are as high as 73.02% of total non-performing loans. However, the figure has decreased slightly from 75.7% to the end of 2013. Ho Chi Minh City has refunded over 30 billion dong or $1.4 million of value-added tax to foreigners exiting Vietnam through the Tân Sơn Nhất International Airport border gate since July 1, 2012. According to the city's custom department, the sum was claimed by more than 8,000 foreigners for the goods paid at a total of nearly 390 billion dong or $18.6 million. A majority of the goods were eyeglasses, domestic clothes, footwear, watches, computers, wallets, and jewelry. However, some problems have been mentioned, including the processing time for tax refund and inadequate information printed on tax returns. This prompted the Custom Department to ask the Ministry of Finance to standardize the processing time, define concrete responsibility of goods sellers, and organize regular training courses for custom staff. It also proposed the application of a single tax refund solution across the country to make the refund processing easier. Upcoming in the bulletin is some investment news.
According to figures released by the Foreign Investment Department under the Ministry of Planning and Investment, Japan is the largest investor of the 101 countries and territories that have invested in Vietnam. Japanese investors are currently running 2,237 valid projects in Vietnam with a total registered capital of $35.38 billion. The average capital per Japanese invested project in Vietnam is about $15.8 million, higher than the average level of all foreign invested projects, which is $14.58 million. Japan has invested in 18 of the nation's 21 economic sectors, including 1,213 projects in the processing and manufacturing industry, with registered capital of $29.82 billion, accounting for 54.2% of total Japanese projects and 84.3% of Japan's total investment capital. The real estate sector came in second, with 30 projects at a registered capital of $1.4 billion. This was followed by the construction sector at its 54 projects with registered capital of $1.05 billion.
The Ministry of Planning and Investment revealed Vietnamese investors are rushing into Cambodia with 128 projects, registered a total amount of $3.1 billion. The investment projects mainly focus on agroforestry and fishery sector, accounting for 50.58% of registered capital, energy 27%, finance, banking and insurance 8.7%, and telecommunication 5.1%. Local experts say for the business to take off in this neighboring country, Vietnamese firm should do thorough market investigation and work closely with the Vietnamese Trade Office and Vietnamese banks in Cambodia. The Ministry of Planning and Investment said Cambodia ranked the second among 60 countries and territories that Vietnamese companies have invested in. Vietnam e-commerce sales were estimated at $2.2 billion in 2013 and are expected to surpass $4 billion by 2015, thanks to increase in the number of Internet users. The Vietnam E-commerce and Information Technology Agency under the Ministry of Industry and Trade has just published a report on Vietnam's 2013 e-commerce. Accordingly, in the year, Vietnam generated $2.2 billion worth of e-commerce sales, which is equivalent to $120 per resident. It's expected that by 2015, averagely each Vietnamese will spend $150 per year for online purchasing. The revenues from e-commerce will surpass $4 billion. The report also provides that by 2015, about 40 to 45% residents will use the Internet. Vietnam imported 2.2 million tons of steel, valued at $1.5 billion in the first quarter of 2014, up 1.5% in volume and down 3.7% in value compared to a year earlier. According to the Vietnam Custom data, Vietnam spent $568.3 on the purchase of 827,000 tons of steel from overseas markets in March, principally from China, Japan, Taiwan, and South Korea. The Vietnam Steel Association reported its members consumed 570,000 tons in March, rising 60% from the previous month, up nearly 26.5% from a year ago. Recently, the Ministry of Industry and Trade has coordinated with the Ministry of Science and Technology to apply national technical standards aimed at supporting local producers, increasing inspection on imports, and preventing trade fraud. According to a recent report by the National Financial Supervisory Commission, Vietnam's economy is moving forward positively, but the aggregate demand has improved slowly. Economic indicators in the first 4 months of this year has proved this. However, according to experts, the solution for increasing aggregate demand is to ensure the government's inflation control targets. More in the following report.
A report on the Vietnamese economy in the Q1 2014, as well as the forecast for the whole year by the National Financial Supervision Committee, showed consumption power is slowly improving. Retail sales of goods and services increased by only 5.1%, not much higher than the rate of the previous 2 years. Compared to the December 2013, the CPI increased 0.8% and 4.39% on year. It can be seen that Vietnam has managed to control inflation. However, it is concerned that all the 3 important components for the aggregate demand calculation declined, including consumption, investment, and exports.
Nếu mà nhìn vào đầu tư cũng là một cái thành tố rất là quan trọng của tổng cầu. Thì trước đây ấy, giai đoạn mà sau khi gia nhập WTO ấy, thì trung bình là đầu tư ở Việt Nam là chiếm khoảng 42% GDP. Nhưng mà 2 năm gần đây ấy, thì cái tổng đầu tư xã hội so với GDP nó tụt xuống chỉ còn khoảng 30%. Thì đây là một cái sự sụt giảm rất là ghê gớm. Và trong cái sự sụt giảm này thì đặc biệt là sụt giảm cả đầu tư tư nhân và đầu tư nhà nước. Xuất khẩu Việt Nam thì trong cái bối cảnh khó khăn của kinh tế thế giới và cả Việt Nam thì không phải là kém và thậm chí là khá cao mức tăng. Tuy nhiên đấy là tăng chung xuất khẩu. Còn để tạo ra cái giá trị gia tăng đóng góp cho GDP, đóng góp cho tăng trưởng thì cũng không, mức tăng không quá nhiều. Cái tổng cầu nó có sụt giảm và đây là một lý do nhìn trong ngắn hạn là giải thích cái chuyện là tăng trưởng kinh tế Việt Nam giảm.
Analyzing the CPI, experts said despite reduced purchasing power and weaker aggregate demand, costs keep rising, which means that the cost factor has pushed up commodity prices. so high growth is not expected this year and the next year, and thus on favorable conditions to maintain macroeconomic stability, to focus on economic restructuring to support for the following period. In terms of enterprises, they are suggested to develop market-driven products as well as to adopt profit reduction to sustain growth in the current context.
Thì chúng ta cạnh tranh chúng ta bằng cái gì? Thứ nhất là chúng ta phải cạnh tranh bằng cái chất lượng sản phẩm, cái tính năng sử dụng sản phẩm cũng như là cái giá cả. Cho nên thì tụi tôi rất quan tâm những cái vấn đề đó. Cho nên làm sao là chúng ta để đó là sản xuất những sản phẩm là đạt được yêu cầu của thị trường. Cho nên thì dù thị trường khó khăn, tôi nghĩ chúng ta vẫn có thể không thể phát triển lớn được, nhưng mà vẫn có thể từng bước đi lên được.
Doanh nghiệp thì phải tham gia vào với thái độ tích cực bằng những cái chương trình của mình, bằng một cái động tác là chúng ta phải chia sẻ cái lợi nhuận để tạo một cái giá cả hợp lý. Còn về chính phủ thì phải kết hợp luôn cả tài chính, giá cả, tiền tệ, quản lý, tất cả những yếu tố đó phải tạo nên một cái, và đầu tư công. Tất cả những vấn đề đó chúng ta sẽ tạo được một cái tổng cầu mới.
At the macro level, the government sets a regulatory method on the targeted inflation, that is to turn from being passive toward inflation into able to control it in the range of 6.5 to 7% for the whole year. Therefore, according to the experts, the government is supposed to continue regulate flexibly in the monetary policy and fiscal policy to increase the aggregate demand of the economy. There is still room for fiscal and monetary policies, public service adjustments. If it fails to take advantage of the room, an increase in the aggregate demand would not occur by the end of the year. Furthermore, according to experts, support policies of the government such as Resolution Number 1 and Resolution Number 2, which have not resulted as expected, still somewhat helps remove business difficulties, then create jobs and increase aggregate demand. Combined with trade promotion policies, high export growth also contributes to increased aggregate demand for the economy.
And the final part is the update of local gold prices, forex and securities market on April the 18th. Well, that's all for this edition of Into Vietnam. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye and see you later.